Hey guys, Chris here for Thoman's Guitars and Basses. In today's Guitar Tech Tips episode, I have a special guest. Myles Kennedy, one of my favorite musicians, is going to explain us how he likes his guitars set up. We started this series a couple of weeks, maybe months ago, depending on when this comes out, where I had Maddie, John Petrucci's guitar tech, explaining us how John likes his guitar. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about your taste in terms of guitar setups, string height, all the nerdy stuff.
All right, cool.
How's your approach when you're playing guitar? Are you really picky with setups?
I'm pretty. I'm not crazy picky. I just know that I don't like the action too low. I don't like it too high. I like it just right. And I couldn't tell you an exact number as far as like how many centimeters, inches from the 12th fret, any of that. But I do like it. I like a teeny bit of fight. I don't like to, but because one thing I've noticed, especially with when I'm using a plectrum, is that if the strings are too loose, if the gauge is too light, that it's kind of slow to respond. It's the attack. It's like it takes a while for the string to bounce back. So, but my left hand, as much as I play, especially with some of the string, the neck radiuses that I have, especially on those older Telecasters, that 7 1/4 radius, there's a lot. It's a lot of fight, right? So yeah, it's a fine balance of the light, just light enough to be able to bend the string, but just enough tension so that when I'm picking, it's going to bounce back in time.
Was it a big difference for you to get used to like a 7 1/4 inch radius on an old Tele? Because you were playing mainly on stage, your PRS single cut. Yeah. Which is what I got to know you with. And was there like a big, I don't know, learning curve involved? Sure. or not at all?
Yeah, there was. It took some time to get used to that radius. I'm trying to figure out whether like I think the PRSs are about 10, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not crazy flat, but it feels good actually. I do like the way the PRSs feel in that respect. But it did, picking up an old Blackguard, it was like, what is this? How am I gonna navigate these waters? But it's weird though. It feels good though when the way that radius, that 7 1/4, it just feels rounder and it feels nice in your hand. You just got to know that if you're bending, it's like, be prepared. It's going to hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It very much depends on how straight you can make the neck, obviously, and like which kind of strings you're using, like string gauge and string type, right. I guess. And just the amount of muscles in your hand, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Which, to be perfectly honest, as the years go on, my hands... it's time being cruel. They're not. I don't feel like it's quite as strong as it was when I was 25, but it still works. It still does what I tell her to. So,
talking about strings, do you have like a method? Like, okay, scale length X means gauge whatever.
Yeah, and also tuning. So if I'm using if I'm playing a 25 and a half inch scale guitar, it's going to be a little more tension, right?
Yeah.
I might opt for, let's say I'm in standard. Okay. I'm going to probably opt for a 9.5 gauge string. I don't like 9s. It's just too loose for me. And once again, it goes back. It all goes there. Exactly.
This one? No way.
Yeah. Diodera. Yeah. I'm a Diodera guy.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. What's really interesting, you are at least the third guitar player who told me this. Pete Thorne told me he's a great session guy, YouTube guy, crazy musician. And he told like when he's like playing a normal like 25 and a half inch scale guitar, he tends to use the 9.5s. And then Phil X, now Bon Jovi earlier session guy as well, great dude. And he also told like for normal tunings with this scale length, 9.5. It's so interesting how many people tend to use it, even though it's not not the most obvious gauge, like not the traditional gauge, I guess.
I remember I used to work at a music store, and I remember every Tuesday I was the kid that would have to unbox the new stuff when it would show up. And I remember unboxing the shipment and like 9.5s. What is this? And that's what I ended up using through, for a long time. And then I went back to 11s, and then I went back to 10. Sometimes you get bored and you just want to see what. And also when I started getting into altered tunings, then it changed everything. Because when you're tuning down, then obviously 9.5s are not going to work. And then I'd start putting together kind of these combination string sets where I'd have like, if I was tuned down to C, then suddenly I'm using, believe it or not, like a mid 60s gauge string to keep it from
C.
Yeah, because I don't like it when it gets too flubby. Some people like that, and it does sound kind of cool. It gives it like this real, I don't know, like kind of
sponginess somehow.
Spongy, yeah, evil, because it goes kind of flat and sharp, and it bounces all over. But sometimes I like it just to lock in just a little bit sooner.
And like for like a Gibson scale length, what would you go for?
For that, I'm probably going to lean more towards 10s.
Okay.
10s is good. 10s is just right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've heard in one of your interviews that you are using or were using 10 to 52 for like a typical alto bridge kind of tuning, I guess.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's perfect for alto bridge because we do a fair amount of like the first of all, we're down a half step, and then a lot of times we tune down to D. So that low the string here. So that's perfect. That works really well.
You told you don't really get into numbers and measuring gauges and tools and whatever. Do you have like a method? Like, okay, this is how I can tell if I like the guitar. You just play it, or do you have like a little thing that you do to sort of make sure that it's gonna do its job for the gig?
Yeah, it's called pain in my left hand. So I get it just strong enough to when this starts going, ow, then I'm like, okay, we're not going any heavier. Exactly. I think that's my measuring gauge. But I was going to ask you, what is that thing called that measures the string gauge? There's like a tool. I need to get one of those.
Caliper.
Because I have so many guitars where I'm like, I don't know. I forgot what gauge I put on it. And and I'm so lazy. I'm like, I don't want to have to change the strings because I know I can put, maybe I've already got 10s on there. So I just get the caliper and measure it.
What would you go for if you want to feel comfortable on a guitar? Not only in terms of string action and all that, like the left side of the guitar. What's up with like pickup height? Or I don't know, pots? Are you super nerdy with, no, this turns too hard or this gets too dull if I turn the volume down? Is there something that you really, want on a guitar?
It's a great question. As far as the pots go, I want simple more than anything. I want streamlined. I don't want a bunch of knobs.
Let me raise this guitar for a sec.
Exactly.
Just say.
It's utilitarian. It's very idiot proof, and I'm an idiot, so like works for me. So I think that when it comes to volume knobs and the tone knob and all that, I'm more interested in how is it going to work with the pickup? Because like with all that, those pots make a big difference, like in terms of the relationship. So for me, at the end of the day, it's all about tone. I don't really, tone is paramount. Whatever's going to get me the best tone is the way we're going to go. If that means that for some reason that pot is like, impossible to turn, even it's not going to matter. But I'm fine with that because chances are I'm going to leave it set in one position anyways.
Is there a chance that we'll see you go on stage with, I don't know, alto bridge rocking a tally?
Well, I did start doing, as a matter of fact, I did start using Telly, on the Walk the Sky tour, because I kind of rekindled my love affair with the. I played Tellys probably, other than the PRS, more than any guitar throughout my career. Back in the '90s, that was my go-to. Back in Tellys, and there was a Strat. I had this really funny yellow Strat that I got because of it was yellow because there was this guy named Sid who used to play on David Letterman's show, and Sid had a yellow like Strat style guitar. And I thought, well, if Sid has one, then I won't. He's cool. And so yeah, I rocked that for a while, and then I had a Les Paul as well. But yeah, I liked the way the Tele sounded with Alter Bridge too, because it helped differentiate Mark and I's sound.
You have that beautiful National. Is it a National?
It is.
In your hand. So what's up with that?
Yeah, this is the one that I recorded the record with. I've done the Year of the Tiger and this record, and then toured with this as well. And it's just, it's just a cool guitar, man. I mean, it's this is open D. And then you can kick on the gain. It's got a thing, and then this is just the factory pickup. They sent one of these, and you pop it in, and I put it in the old Fender Deluxe, and it works like a champ.
The album we're talking about is obviously Myles' brand new album, which is coming out May 14. It's coming up soon. Don't miss it. I had the chance to listen to it already, and yeah, check it out, is all I'm saying. Is there anything like what you always tell to your guitar techs? Like, I don't know, which you're on tour with Slash or with Alter Bridge or solo stuff or whatever is coming up. Is there something like a briefing?
I don't feel like I'm too hard on techs. I've seen scenarios where techs walk away crying, but I'm not that guy. I'm just cool if they hand me the guitar and it's in tune, I'm a happy man. And so, sometimes you get up there and the tone isn't quite right. And look, unfortunately, I'm the kind of guy where my non-verbals sometimes are loud. Like they can see it on my face. He's not happy with his tone tonight. And then I always start to worry. Oh, I don't want my tech to think I'm angry at him, because I'm not. It's acoustics. There's some and it's power. Sometimes it's you just crappy power to a venue, and so there's only so much your tech can do. They're not magicians. They can't. He's not going to be able to install an entire new power situation if the power is really dirty or screwed up, or if the acoustics are just lame. It's not. I'm not going to yell at you. That's not. I'm not going to be a jerk. But it's like. So I've had to learn to be like more keep your game face on and be like, you know what? If it's not perfect, showbiz, show's got to go on. No one wants to see you up there pouting. It's just the facts. And and generally people can't tell. Like they're like, well, I went to the Alter Bridge show and Miles's rig had an overabundance of 8K. That's not what happens. No. I mean, you might go to one because but in general.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and you learn after years and years and years of doing this, you learn to view it from the audience's perspective. And I've seen guys melt down on stage, and I think it leaves a bad taste for the fans. Nobody wants to see that vibe. I mean, unless you're going to a rock show where it's like it's about tension and it's about like conflict. And there are artists out there where it's like, cool, I'm going to go see the shock rocker. Maybe he'll defecate on stage as well. Like woohoo, woohoo! I saw a man poop on stage. Oh, this is going horribly wrong. But anyway, yeah, I try to just keep it cool. I try my best. So.
I kind of realized when I'm playing different guitars, I play totally differently. And I'm sure everyone is the same with this. But I also figured out that I prefer different tension on the strings, not talking about gauges necessarily, just a different vibe to a guitar. Like if I'm playing a Tele, which is something I do most of the time, I don't mind a little fight. And I feel comfortable with that experience. When I'm playing a Strat, I don't really want to fight it. I want to fight it less. And if I'm playing something like with a Gibson scale length or whatever, it's just always like, butter. Like your fingers just fly all over the place. PRS, the same thing. That's just so interesting how different the experience is and my expectations from a guitar. Is this something that's sort of relevant for you too, or have the same vibe?
Absolutely. I mean, with Teles, what's fascinating for me is I have Teles in the collection some of which have way more fight than others with the same gauge string. I mean, it's got the same scale length and everything. I'm like, why does this guitar have so much more fight? Interestingly enough, the guitar that was predominantly used on the Ides of March, which was my 52 Imposter, as I like to call it now, because it's not all legit 52, but it's I was starting to have real issues with my wrist. And it got so bad. It got so bad where there were days where we had to stop recording because I had developed a massive case of tendonitis. I was just massive. Like it was swollen. It was a mess. And I limped through the very last part of the guitar process. It was a drag. You know, you finally get to make your guitar record, and you're like, oh shoot. But we attributed a lot of it to this telly that. My producer picked it up and he goes, oh my God. He goes, how do you play this thing? It had so much fight between the 7 1/4 radius and the string gauge and tension. It was just like, but initially I really liked it because I feel like it was coaxing something out of me. I was like, it's not easy to play. And I wanted that, like, I wanted to dig in and fight. I wanted to fight, it's like that fight. And if you pick up if I pick up my 335, the fight is not there. It's a different animal, and you play maybe a little more fluid, and I do play different lines in that respect. Like I'll maybe be a little more, it'll be a little smoother. But if I'm playing the telly, it's like, it's about that attack. It's about that, just like, ugh. I certainly didn't realize it until I had the luxury of, acquiring a few different guitars. When you're younger, you just assume, every guitar, you get 6 strings and you got, X amount of frets and they all play the same, but they're all very different animals. And that's why I like to have a lot of different ones, because it keeps me inspired in different ways. It informs me in different ways.
Which guitar was inspiring you to write the songs for the new album? Like most? Was it the Telly or the National?
Yeah, I would say, well, this was certainly one, but I would say probably it was kind of a combination of my black hearts. It would be a mix between the Nocaster, the 53, and the 52 Imposter.
Oh wow!
Those three kind of. It was just whatever day I decided to play. Well, today I want to play this one here. And generally they would do a good job of informing me. Guitars are, seriously, guitar is the coolest instrument in the universe. I'm a little biased, but it's like perfect.
As it is, yeah.
Right?
That's how it is. Well, I didn't say it. Myles did. So,
right. Yeah. Here comes the internet hate. Here comes in the comment section. Guitar isn't the greatest instrument.
Exactly. And now go.
Do it.
No.
And go. Right. Exactly.
All right, Myles, so cool. You guys make sure to check out our interview with Myles. It's gonna come out around mid-May for whichever reason. And make sure to check out Myles' brand new solo album as well. Myles, thank you so much for joining us for this video. And you guys, take it easy. You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos, and make sure to come back. Bye-bye.
Right on. That was fun.
Absolutely awesome. I could go on, but
okay. A fellow telly lover. I love it.